CITA BIM group.
Yes,
It's going to be very difficult to do that.
That's okay.
Okay. So I just want to remind everybody about the CITA BIM group and what we've been trying to do over the last 2 years, actually, but in particular in the last year. And really what we're trying to get is an industry-wide representative group to have a discussion, a mature discussion about BIM. And so far we've got 18 stakeholder organizations involved who've officially appointed a representative to the group, and it gets involved in steering the direction of the group. And it's a collective effort to investigate the benefits, to address some of the issues and obstacles, to promote some consensus and joined-up thinking, which is something that is sadly lacking in our industry, to unlock and fast-track the adoption of BIM, because we do see it as something that's an opportunity, and I'll talk about that, to facilitate discussion, online discussion, and also provide resources for people who want to find out about BIM, and obviously to network with other professionals in this industry who have an interest in this area. So besides these meetings, we've set up a LinkedIn group. It's now developed up to about 2,500 members. It's a growth of about 2,000 members over the year, which is fantastic. The 1,200 companies are represented, 80 industries in 40 countries. So there's quite an international interest in what we're doing. 70% of the people on the LinkedIn group are CEOs, directors, owners. In other words, decision makers, people who could actually make a difference. 80% of the group is in the architectural, engineering, construction, real estate and facilities industry, specifically in Ireland. So I just wanted to go out of here quickly. Can I just show hands, who is on the LinkedIn group? Okay, so the vast majority, but for those that aren't, I really think you're missing a trick. And I wanted to go to, did you have this open somewhere? As a business owner, I must say, one of the more interesting technologies that I've come across over the last 2 years is LinkedIn. In terms of networking with people, finding information. A lot of the speakers, the international speakers we've had at these functions this year are really from relationships we've developed through LinkedIn. And it's really easy. You go to linkedin.com, you set up an account, just enter your email, you go to groups, do a search for CITA BIM group. Now, obviously I'm logged in as myself, so I've already joined the group. But if you haven't joined the group, there'll be a button, join the group. And what you have are discussions, members, so you can see who are members of the group. Just go down here. So, and you can see profiles of people who are involved in the group. But I think the discussion area, and obviously there's promotions of events and products, etc. I've created this one discussion which is available on the top right there, your first visit to CITA BIM group. And what I've done in that discussion is I've just listed some of the topics that we've been discussing over the last 2 years. And probably the first one you really want to go to is this free BIM resources. I'll just click on that. Basically, put there links to all the video presentations of all these functions, documents that are available, reports that are available. It's all there for somebody to access. You don't have to invest huge amounts of money for your company. Just tell your staff, if you're a business owner, to go and find out about BIM. So you can see links to all the video presentations we've had for the year, and you can go through that in your own time. And also we've had some really interesting discussions. I mean, two of the more recent ones is the effect of BIM on the GCC contracts, or why projects fail, and you get the views of different people in the industry, and obviously contribute your own experience and thoughts to these subjects. So, and that's how we help each other. That's how we work together. sharing information, helping each other as an industry, and realizing that all our futures are bound together. That we're not in, I mean, as businesses we may be in competition, but as an industry our futures are bound together. That the economy of our country depends on a healthy construction sector, and and we all want a good economy, so that we do work together. So I'll go out of that. But definitely try and get into the LinkedIn page and find out more about what we're doing, if you're not there already. Okay, so that's what, moving on. And why are we doing this? CITA has definitely become the meeting place for this discussion on BIM in the industry, and it's definitely, in my opinion, become one of the more interesting construction-related groups. It's multidisciplinary, it spans every sector. It's been a fantastic place for anyone to be. And the reason we're doing this is because we honestly believe, as a group, that BIM equals opportunity for our industry. And by God, opportunity is the one thing we all need, isn't it? I mean, we're a small, agile market. We believe that as an industry, we could adapt far quicker than any other market because we're a small group. We can get our act together very quickly. We can become world-class in the way we do things in construction. But in doing that, we can export professional services. We can attract international business. We can get involved in research and development. And really, it's just a call for everybody to get involved and embrace the opportunity. Well, that's the potential, but is that reality? I've just come back from the BIM conference in the UK, and it is very impressive the way they have organized the industry over there, how the government have provided leadership and brought together both private and public sector leaders, and it's just got a consistent message across the industry. And if we just look at adoption around the world, in the US, McGraw-Hill was saying, in a recent report, that the adoption in the industry is at 71%. The UK is saying that 36%, or maybe 31% if you believe NBS, doesn't matter. Where are we in Ireland? The only stats we have are a survey that we did through the Institute of Architects, amongst the architects, and probably the ones who answered the question are people who understood what BIM was, and that was 16%. But I believe it's far lower than that. And if I could just have a show of hands in this room, how many people are actually working on a BIM project at the moment? Okay? So what's that, about 15, 20 people maybe? 20%? Yeah. So, I mean, we are behind in terms of where the world is in our thinking and in this way of working. And we do need to step up the game. We do need to get our hands dirty, get on the tools, basically. We've had a fantastic series this year. I think you all agree. Anybody who's been involved in this series this year. And I'll quickly go through it just to recap. And as I said, all this information is available. We looked at policy, whether it's policy for the country or policy for your company. What they've felt from the UK Cabinet Office. Just having a strategy is important. We looked at product libraries and specification with Drew Wiggett from NB, who was with BIM Academy, now with the NBS in the UK. We looked at process change management with Ronan Collins from Hong Kong. That was a fantastic session. Just how do we change the way we do things? Because it is a vastly different approach to construction. We looked at the importance of standards with Paul Waddy from AEC UK BIM standard, and BS 1192 and everything, and that we all need to just agree and adopt a standard that we're working to. We looked at the opportunities for contractors, a fantastic session with Chris Gilmore from BAM UK and two of their subcontractors, Fisher Engineering and Clear Concrete, who worked on the Leeds Arena project, and they were actually speaking at the conference on Monday, and they were saying that they saved £500,000 on that project through using them. I mean, incredible story. We looked at education, the importance of education with David Greenwood from Northumbria, and trying to pull education facilities around the country together to get a consistent message out to graduates and students. And through that, we've tried to set up an education group. We've invited 18 schools around the country who are involved in teaching people architecture, engineering, contracting management, quantity surveying, to get together and talk to us. Right. We looked at another incredible session with Jamie Johnson from Bryden Wood, who's working with Circle Healthcare Partnership on the whole issue of prefabrication and modularization of units and driving costs down, and even what we were talking about this morning of looking at the operational costs at the briefing stage of a project. Very important. We looked at the financial and insurance risks and products that are coming out in the UK in terms of integrated project insurance with Steve Bamforth. Recently we've had James Salmon over from the US, from Construction Collaboration Construction Resources, an expert in integrated project delivery, a US construction solicitor who's really, at the coalface of how things work or don't work, and fantastic session on, what he called the risk of the return on failure in projects, and an amazing session this morning. I think you'll agree with Judith on just a more sophisticated way of doing construction. I think it's a fantastic approach to building, and I think if you look at what we've done this year, it's absolutely incredible, and I think we should all take our hats off to CITA and the team at CITA for putting this together for the cost of €8 per session. Between 8 or 20 euros, depending on the size of your company, per session for this quality of information. So thanks to Alan, to Suzanne, to Barbara, to Tady, to Barry, all the guys at the back who just made this happen for us, that we can just get all this very good information. So, and it's all available online, and what's also going to happen is CITA are going to take the feedback that we've been getting from all these workshops and compile that together in a single report, which will go out to the 18 organizations who can then distribute that to their members. So that we'll have one message coming out of this year's workshops to the industry. I think that's going to be a fantastic achievement, and so well done on that. So where do we go from here? What is BIM? And we had a lot of discussion in the steering group as to what we should cover next year, and there was some feeling that maybe BIM isn't relevant to everybody. And unfortunately, this acronym BIM doesn't really describe what we're doing, but it is what the industry, for whatever reason, has chosen to use. We're talking about information. We're talking about specifically information about buildings, and we're talking about how we use information, or as the industry decided to use, model information. And I like to sort of broaden that definition of modeling to using. How do we use information? So a quantity surveyor might use information about a building in order to produce a cost estimate or build quantities. An energy consultant might use information in order to predict energy performance. A structural engineer might use information to analyze the structure. A solicitor might use information in order to link areas of a building to tenants. An accountant might use building information in order to do financial cost plans or financial models. Have you heard that term? So we're all involved in building information modeling. It doesn't matter what area you're in. And we do need to see that it's really the discussion of building information modeling is how do we do it at the moment? And can technology help streamline the processes and avoid the situation where everybody's creating their own information over and over again, and then we start working together. So it's about people, process, and technology. And we all need to get to a level of understanding where the UK government is pushing towards level 2 BIM. What does that mean? In practical terms, it means that everybody's working in a three-dimensional, information-rich format to be able to bring information together. It's not changing anything significantly. An architect will still produce their own architectural model to produce their own architectural drawings. The services engineer will produce their own service model to produce the service model drawings. The structural engineer. Just the ability to bring those models together, to see all the information in context, to review the project and find the problems before we go to site, and take it even further where contracts managers are going to link elements in that model to their construction program and simulate the sequence of construction and find issues of buildability and health and safety before they happen on site. Quantity surveyors linking it to cost estimates, what we spoke about this morning, sustainability, being able to predict the performance of buildings and of products and components, to simulate that beforehand. And obviously a very big area is at the end of the process, having intelligent data that can be used by clients and project managers, facilities managers to manage those facilities. So we're all getting involved. When we talk about BIM as one model, it's a collection, as Judith mentioned, could be thousands of models, but just being able to bring those together, and that's something we haven't been able to do in the industry. So that's level 2 BIM, that's where we need to get at. Everybody needs to figure it out for themselves. What is the part that you need to play in this process? And that's what we're going to do next year. We're going to look at integrating processes and technologies, because there are already a lot of technologies out there for the project planning stage before we even enter design, analysis, estimating, sequencing, clash detection, project management, field work, fabrication. There's a lot of technologies out there to do these things already. What we need to do as an industry is get those technologies to work together, to get the people involved in those different stages of a project to work together, for people to understand that the way you produce information and the way you share information profoundly affects the next person downstream. So we're hoping that the series next year will help everybody understand the next person's role and be able to ask questions. How do you receive information? How do you pass information on? And to understand the different technologies and processes. And so that's what the year is going to be about, is breaking it down into the different stages and talking about technology. And we're going to hopefully get an industry expert in each of these stages of the project, as well as we're going to invite the software vendors to get more involved in the series to kind of show us the toys for these different things, so we can see how it all works together. So it's going to be a fantastic series of events, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. In tandem with that series, what we want to do, well, there's an aspiration, is to get a team of people who are willing to put some time in and maybe develop a model of a project. It could be a generic project, it could be a project, maybe a pilot project, anything. But just to develop a model as a group through those different stages. To put a little bit of time in. So at one point, a services engineer might do some analysis, or a structural engineer might do some structural analysis. A quantity surveyor might say, well, I want to try and do some quantity takeoff and cost analysis. And a planner might say, well, I just want to do some massing studies and early pre-design stage, anything. Like we want a group of people who just start doing this. We've talked about it for 2 years. We actually need to just get down and do it. That we develop a model through these different stages, with these different technologies and processes through the year, and we make that model available to the wider CITA group to access, to play with, to break, mess up, whatever, to get hands on, that we start moving along in the way we work. And the third thing we're planning next year is the BIM gathering. As I said, we've developed a really good international following, and we want to invite some of the people we've made friends with, basically from around the world, BIM experts, to come to Ireland to share some of their knowledge and enthusiasm about BIM, about integrated project delivery, about lean construction, how those all work together, to do two things. We want to bring an international focus to the Irish construction industry, and we want to, if possible, showcase some of the capability and understanding that we have to an international market and promote international trade in knowledge and services. And we're going to do this at the Guinness Storehouse. Everybody knows that a pint of Guinness is good for discussion. And but we need everybody's help. I mean, this is an alliance of companies. You know, we need to work together. Each of the parties and institutes that are involved in this need to help us find the right speakers, get the right topics, you know, get the sponsors, get general industry support for this event, and probably more important, like make your bookings so that CITA can actually put this on. So it does need a BIM effort, collaborative effort, but I think it's going to be a fantastic event. So that's what we're planning for next year. I hope you all enjoy it, and thank you for help.